Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to D-Chess. I have another King's Indian attack game for you. This was a 29 mover, and I know you're probably getting tired of seeing the King's Indian attack by now, aren't you? Well, this is the main line, and I'm going to try to make this the last King's Indian attack for a little while anyway. Unless I'm playing black and someone uses it on me, which, probably won't happen. But I just wanted to see that there's a couple themes in this game I want you to recognize. Central control is one of the things I want you to notice. Wasted moves is another thing I want you to notice. And improper exchanges. We'll get to all that. King's Indian attack. And that was the first inaccuracy. This was the basically the King's Indian attack mainline variation, but I'm not so sure that he knows that opening, and that's fine because up until that move, he was playing sound opening principle. And I'll tell you that if you don't know an opening that your opponent's using, just play solid opening principles. Just, stick to the basics. Stick to what works. If you don't know an opening and you just simply play principled chess, you'll be okay. You should be able to navigate it okay. Now, the reason the push it's a book move, pawn to d3. Bishop to c5 runs out of book, and it's a dubious move. It's misplaced. The bishop should have either gone here or here, or he should have pushed a queenside pawn before. If you're going to make that move, he should have done that, and regardless of what I did, then move the bishop in. That way he's got a retreat square. I can't kick him out because, let's put this back, with bishop to c5. As soon as I saw that, I'm thinking, okay, this is coming. I'm going to try to kick you out eventually. But for now, I continue on with regular development. Develop the bishop. Pin the knight to the queen. And then he makes the move, pawn to h6. And for those of you that don't know, that's called putting the question to the bishop. Putting the question to the bishop. What are you going to do, buddy? Are you going to retreat, or are you going to take the knight? Make up your mind. Well, I already knew that I was going to take the knight, but let me rewind something real quick. I honestly thought he would come here. That way, after the exchange, his bishop is sitting on this square. But he questions it here. I take bishop takes f6. And he brings his queen out. So he's playing aggressively. Let's move these around. Queen to f6. Now, I'm still developing c3. c3 does a couple things. c3 prevents this knight from coming forward. It also prevents the bishop from coming forward. I'm not worried about it. I'm. If you don't know this opening, yes, this does block knight's natural development, but the queen's knight does not develop to that square in the King's Indian attack. It goes elsewhere. Plus, c3 allows me to eventually move my queen to c2 because I want that scope along that diagonal. It's particularly the pressure that's building up in the center on e4. I want everybody to pay close attention to what happens on e4. Right now, you can kind of see what's going to take place. After I move c3, he does make a proper move and he castles. And that's whenever I come with just the continue to finish my development. Knight b to d2. And then bishop to g4, which is fine, but I would have moved bishop to g I would have moved bishop g5 because excuse me, it adds more pressure to the center, and that's really what you need in this current situation. Because after queen to c2, guess what? He sees it, and he moves bishop to f5 anyway. So you gave me a tempo. He gave me a tempo, basically. But I can say his structure is very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it's very symmetrical, if that means anything. So after the bishop to f5, it was rook f to e1, and all of this for the past 7 or 8 moves, it's been preparing. Actually, let me say that. Pretty much the past 7 to 8 moves have been preparing for that pawn push that's about to take place. Because look at all the material that he has hitting e4 versus the material that I have hitting e4. Rook f to e1, rook a to d8. Now he could have gone one of his rooks to e8 to add some pressure down the e file, but I think he was trying to create counterplay along the d file. But now it's time for the pawn push. Pawn to e4, and an explosion occurs. D takes e4. And D takes e4. I'm finally able to kick the bishop out. But he goes the wrong square. He goes to g6. He should have went. It's not a bad move. It's not a bad move by any means, but it's not a good move either, because he basically neutered that bishop for the near future. If he had gone here, it's more aggressive. It makes white react. I would have went with that move simply to we're even on material. I would have done that simply to simplify the material down. But let's see. Bishop to g6. Sorry, I'm referring to my notes. this is where B4. Okay, this is where I got the chance to kick the bishop, and he decides he's going to take the pawn with the knight. Knight takes b4, which is a blunder. You do get two pawns after after pawn takes knight and bishop takes pawn. You did get two pawns for a piece, but there's not much to be said for. You didn't really get anything else out of it. Yeah, you're pinning the knight to the rook. You got the rook. You got the rook and the bishop hitting the queen, or I'm sorry, hitting the knight. I've got 1, 2 pieces guarding it. You got 2 pieces attacking it. Therefore, you're going to lose the exchange if you try that. So I'm moving B1, rook A to B1, just to make him react. And he comes bishop to D2, and knight takes D2, and then rook to D4. Now look at the center. Look at the center and look at the queen side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces hitting E4. He's got 2 pieces attacking it. I control the center. Not only that, knight takes D2, rook D4, loses the B pawn, and allows, after rook takes B7, now I'm on the 7th, now I got a rook on the 7th. He comes over here to attack the rook with his queen, but I just simply slide over and take this pawn. And everything's kind of just caving in for him right now. Rook takes C7, rook F to D8. So he did have an idea. You know, he's trying to come down. He's got good pressure coming down the D file. I've only got 1 piece guarding that knight. He's got 2 pieces attacking it. I would lose the queen if I was to sit here and just twiddle my thumbs. But I decide, make him react a little bit. Danger levels. After I attack his queen, he moves queen B7. And then I continue the attack on his queen with rook B1. Queen to B7. And now he does have plenty of pressure coming down that file, but again, it's to the knot. Continue the attack on the queen. So let's go here. Why not? I decide I'm just continue the attack on the queen. He's giving me all these tempos. I'm allowing me to chase him all over the board. And then he backs up, queen G5. Now, I have a little setup for him. I didn't expect him to respond the way he did, but I was hoping he would. After F4, what do you think he did? What do you think he did? He comes here. F4 was a poison pawn. because it creates a fork between the rook and the queen after knight to f3. Now, for some reason I can't understand, instead of moving his queen out of the way, he decides to capture the pawn. F takes g. So, I take the queen. Then he comes even further down. Why not take the knight? Well, I mean, you get you know, why not take the knight? I'll answer that for you. He's already got the knight. That checks me. It forces me to react with king takes h2. And then h takes g5. But this is a completely winning position for white. The material, I think the eval. I think the eval at this point was like 6.8 or something like that. I think. But after hg5, I come rook c8 because I want to trade those rooks. I want to get my queen back there. I have my light squared bishop. I can target this square over here and cut off retreats. He saves me a lot of trouble by what he does next. Bishop takes e4. Okay, why not? Bishop takes e4. And after my bishop takes e4, black resigns. Because from this position, bear in mind, it's black's move, but no matter what move black makes, white checkmates in 8 moves, no matter what black does. So, in the comments down below, tell me if you can find that 8-move checkmate sequence. But I was really happy with this game. My king is all out in the open. Now, no protectors over here, but it doesn't even matter. And it was a brawl. But that was the whole theme. You see what happened on that e4 square. After 29 moves, there you go. So let me know if you can find that mate in 8, and have a good day.